Garage feels a lot like when you get the slow survival horror nature of PlayStation 1 games and mix it with the top down, almost drug fueled visual and audio assault of something like a Hotline Miami. And what's sort of one of the things I must give Garage kudos for is they've done a great job of being able to sort of change the pace from level to level. Now, each level isn't particularly long. As you can see here, it's a top-down perspective, and you're basically fighting monsters and zombies for the most part. You start the game with just a melee weapon like a fire axe, and that game is very slow, sort of tense, but it also shows the weakest point of the game, which is it doesn't always feel accurate. There were times when I would swing an axe or use the kick button and things just wouldn't connect, and it meant then I lost a bit of health. And I played this on normal mode, and a couple of hits and I was dead. So the fact that the challenge was fine, it was just that it sometimes felt like I was getting hit pretty cheaply. But Garage tells a kind of unique story. It's a bit different and unusual. Sort of you face on top of monsters and zombies. There are also sort of guys with guns, and sort of you kind of want to just try to, like, things sort of unravel as you play more and more. It doesn't really show a lot of its cards up front, and you sort of are drawn into this mystery bit by bit. You just know everything's gone to hell, and you are very much aware of it, and you're there. It's a gory game, so you got a really stylish top-down perspective of a classic PlayStation 1 game, I think. There are some bosses along the way. The bosses can be pretty unique in their approach. Like, you have this human centipede thing. You have these huge explosive you have a guy in a tank shooting at you. So they throw a lot of different variations at you, and it definitely felt like I was sort of using different approaches each time. One of the things that did frustrate me a bit, because like I was saying, like, a few hits and you're dead, and it does have that Hotline Miami feel of retry and retry and retry, and the respawn and the saving system is pretty generous. The only thing is the viewpoint of how you could see your enemies. Sometimes you are very close to them by the time they actually popped up on your radar. So if there are enemies in another room and you're not directly in their viewpoint, they will not show on the map, which means sometimes you will get bombarded, and it can be quite frustrating when you're getting through a tough fight and you don't see them until they come around the corner of the door and they're already shooting you, and like I said, a couple of hits and you're dead, and that did frustrate sometimes. However, I couldn't really put the game down. It's got a certain unusual charm to it, and maybe charm's not the right word, but it's got a style to it. That's probably the better word. That sort of kept me playing, and even though I died a lot and it frustrated, especially in handheld mode, sometimes it was quite dark to sort of see areas, and the analog sticks in that sort of position didn't always feel perfect, meaning that I would sort of just miss my aim just enough every time offset left or right, and it is, like I said, a few hits and you're dead, and it can be very frustrating when one basic enemy can take down most of your health because you just missed your aim a little bit. But at the same time, even though there's a fair few top-down shooters out and about now, I think Garage being a Switch exclusive makes a lot of sense, and it's thoroughly enjoyable. I really like I said, it's very much the 90s throwback. You got the scan lines across the screen, which is a really nice effect. Usually, sometimes I'm not a fan of extra visual effects that maybe degrade the visuals overall, but I think it worked really well here. It added to sort of the B-tier movie-ish vibe as well that I got from the game, and overall it looked really cool. The game played well most of the time. There are some drawbacks, like I said, about the controls, like I said, about it being a bit too dark. Sometimes it was hard to see what was around. I kind of feel like I was moving the Switch around in unusual ways that I normally wouldn't do. But there's a fair few guns on offer. There's a decent amount of levels. They mix things up quite a bit. You go from one level, which is basically a stealth-like mission where you don't have any weapons and you've just got to get out, to sort of finding your way around a maze where places are locked and you've got to find out how to open the door, and you may only have a few enemies at you, and then from there you will be given a bunch of ammo and you know what's about to happen, and you're going up against sometimes waves of enemies, and stuff like that always keeps things feeling fresh. But the small flaws never went away, and at times it's sort of, as much as I love playing the game, I kind of wish I could put it down a bit more. But I guess it still holds testament that I couldn't means that this game is pretty damn fun, and if what you see here is interesting to you, I highly recommend. Just be aware of the caveats.